Hey guys, this is God of Politics. Before we get started with the video, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I upload pretty much every day, so just continue your support and please subscribe to the channel. Also, join the Discord and follow me on Twitter. I have those linked in the description. So yeah, let's get started with the video. The video today is going to be about an insider trading scandal with 5 senators. We have Jim Inhofe, Richard Burr, Dianne Feinstein, Kelly Loeffler, and Ron Johnson, 4 GOP senators and 1 Democratic senator. But the main two, I think, are Richard Burr and Kelly Loeffler. And so basically, insider trading, what happened was that there was a classified briefing for senators about the implications that the coronavirus could have on the economy and the stock market. And then so Kelly Loeffler, she sold millions of dollars in stock. So did Richard Burr, and so did 3 other senators. They sold off their stock after realizing the economic impacts that it could have. So the thing about Richard Burr, which is the worst part, is that in 2012 he voted against a bill that would ban insider trading or try to curb insider trading for members of Congress. He was one of the 3 senators that voted against it, and it really shows what's happening with Richard Burr here. And he's not the biggest Trump guy, but he said that it was all with public information here. He said in a statement, but people aren't on Twitter. Obviously, follow me on Twitter, God of Politics 1. I'll have it linked in the description. People are calling on Richard Burr and Kelly Loeffler and all of them really to resign. I would say that they should resign or at least be investigated by an ethics committee because this is completely ridiculous because they knew about information before the public knew, and they knew about information that the public would never know. And we see the statement from Richard Burr here shows that Richard Burr says that he only relied on public information to for him selling the stocks, and I think that that is just completely ridiculous because looking at the stock market here, we see that the meeting, I think they said it was like February 20 something, 28th or something like that. We see that the market peaked around the 21st of February, or just around that time, and then it started to fall, and then they were briefed about the economic impacts it could have, and then they sold all their stock, or at least a lot of their stock. And you see now that the stock market is tanked, they got a nice and tidy profit while telling the rest of the public that everything was okay. And that's especially what Richard Burr did. He tried to go out there and say that there was going to be no economic impact, that America was prepared, America was safe, and then we have the stock market declining, and he knew about this before it all happened. Another thing with Kelly Loeffler, the senator from Georgia, who's actually up for re-election this year, her husband is president of the New York Stock Exchange, and then she sold millions of dollars in stock after she found out the economic impacts it would have in a classified briefing. That is what insider trading is, and this is just completely ridiculous. All this information is coming out now. It says, as an Intelligence Committee Chairman, Mr. Burr receives regular briefings on threats to the United States, including the coronavirus. He is also a member of the Senate Health Committee, which in January hosted a briefing with top Trump administration officials open to all senators. So these senators were part of briefings where there was classified information about the economic impacts that coronavirus was going to have, because at the time the coronavirus wasn't that big of an issue. Maybe Trump was going in and saying, and a lot of people were saying immediately, most people were saying that it wasn't going to be too big of an issue, and then the senators were getting briefed on how big of an issue this could be, and instead of telling the public, they sold off their stock and pretended like everything was fine. And it is just completely ridiculous. So if we look at Mr. Burr, Richard Burr's transactions, it says that he and his wife sold 33 different stocks on February 13th. So if we look at where the stock was on February 13th, we can see that it was at pretty much a peak, 29,423, which was the peak of the stock market on the 13th. They sold 33 stocks on the 13th, and then it lost a third of its value. And they went out and said that everything was fine. And so these stocks that he sold were collectively worth between $628,000 and $1.7 million, according to the disclosures within the Secretary of the Senate. And then he sold all of these stocks and got a profit off it. And then Dianne Feinstein, we see her husband sold off a bunch of stock as well. Same thing with Jim Inhofe. He sold a bunch of stock. And Mrs. Loeffler, Kelly Loeffler, her husband is the head of the stock exchange, who sold 27 stock sales worth millions of dollars because she was a businessman before becoming a businesswoman before becoming senator, and now we are seeing that she all the corruption that is being exposed because of this, and I think that she really should resign because of it. Um, and this is about the briefing here. It says that there's a briefing on the coronavirus. This is the briefing that she had before she sold all of her stock. And they knew information that we didn't, that the public didn't. And think of all the people that have lost money in their 401ks, their IRAs, their retirement accounts. These people knew about it before it was going to happen. They pretended as if everything was okay, and now they're trying to defend it, saying it was all with public information even before all of the market issues had even happened. Nobody really saw it coming, and a lot of people are calling on Mr. Burr, Senator Burr, and all of them really to resign. I think all of them should resign. Even Tucker Carlson of Fox News, who is usually on board with the GOP, said that they should resign. He said maybe there's an honest explanation for what he did. If there is, he should share with us immediately. Otherwise, he must resign from the Senate and place prosecution for insider trading. And I completely agree. This is just completely ridiculous what is happening now. They should have done something about this before. Somebody should launch an ethics investigation, and if they find that they did this, they should definitely prosecute them and force them to resign. And it also has implications on the elections too, because we see Kelly Loeffler was appointed by Governor Brian Kemp to be the senator over Doug Collins, the representative from Georgia's 7th district. Doug Collins is now running for that Senate seat, and he is running for the Senate seat. Nobody really thought he would be able to win before this, but now, obviously, with all the thing going on with Kelly Loeffler, the primary I think is about May 14th or something, sometime in May. So this looks really bad for Kelly Loeffler, and if she is somehow able to win the primary, that puts up a very in play general election matchup with a Democrat from the state of Georgia, which is a trending state. While the Democrats don't have the best candidate, it is a seat they're probably going to be able to flip if you have Kelly Loeffler, who we've seen now is corrupt. This is clearly corruption on her part. We have seen this now, and we've seen that if she is able to win the primary, I think it is likely she will lose. And we see even too, Richard Burr is retiring in 2022, so it's not going to affect him too much unless he does resign, and his Senate seat will be appointed by a Democrat because the governor is a Democrat. Same thing with Wisconsin with Ron Johnson. If he were to resign because of this, his Senate seat would also be replaced by a Democrat due to the governor being a Democrat, and that would have bad implications for the GOP. And also, this is just a completely ridiculous thing. I have to say it again because I can't believe this is happening in the Senate. They had a bill that was aimed at protecting this. Richard Burr voted against it, and now we are facing the consequences of it. People have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they are sitting here on the side pretending like everything was okay when they knew it wasn't, and they sold off millions of dollars in stock just to try and protect themselves or whatever they're doing. But I don't think that we'll be seeing many of these faces for very longer. Some of them are retiring. Ron Johnson's retiring. Richard Burr's retiring. Dianne Feinstein will probably be retiring too. Jim Inhofe will probably retire soon. And then I think Kelly Loeffler is going to lose her primary. I don't think there's any way she wins after all of this corruption. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this big news event that is going on. I find it really ridiculous that this is all happening. It actually makes me really upset. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video. I just wanted to go through this. I'll have some more videos coming out soon. I'll have a video about who is going to be Joe Biden's vice presidential pick. I'll also have a video talking about the U.S. House of Representatives. Can the GOP take back the House after all of this? We'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.